Welcome to both of you. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
You each got a chance to be part of a delegation to speak with the Pope, and I'm really curious, and Cassidy, perhaps I'll start with you. What was that like to be in the room?
It was a good experience. I mean, it's one that I never thought I would ever have the opportunity to do. But it wasn't about me. It was about the survivors that we were able to bring with us on this journey and really give them the time to share their stories. One of the things that has really motivated me to make sure that this trip was as successful for our delegation as possible was that one of our survivors who we did bring with us, when she was in residential school for 10 years, she knew that she wasn't being treated properly by priests and nuns, and she talked with her sisters and said, well, what do we do when we're not being treated properly? And when they were children in residential school, they said, well, we have to go to the top. We have to go to the Pope and tell him what's happening. And that's exactly what happened today. And so it was a good experience for our survivors. They're very happy with how it went, and we'll see where things go moving forward now.
Yeah, Nathan?
Well, first and foremost, I don't think I've ever been in a more opulent place. And I've been all over the world now in my travels. It's incredible to see the stunning breadth of, well, architecture, of art, but also of wealth. We, as the Inuit delegation, are very humble in the way that we see our place in the world. And to see the Pope and his humanity was also reassuring. But the place where this meeting happened was a place that was very foreign to myself and every one of our delegates.
So let's talk about the humanity of the Pope there as you describe it. So you're in this opulent room, you're speaking with this world leader, someone that most of us will never have a chance to be that close to, much less communicate directly with. You did it through translation. So how did you see the humanity of the Pope today?
Well, he greeted us as we came into the room, shook each one of our hands, listened intently as one of our elders lit the kudlik, our oil lamp, listened to us all through the presentations or the things that people wanted to say. And you could tell that he was actively listening. He had a translator with him who was consecutively translating as we were speaking. Mm-hmm. And in the end, he did speak a little bit, and actually you could tell that he didn't just stick with his notes. He also had something very specific that he said in relation to what we had presented to him. And I was very happy to see that he took such an interest in what we had to say.
And Cassidy, I see you nodding in agreement. So that was the sense you had in your meeting as well?
Yeah, it was. You could, like Nathan said, is that you could tell he was listening, which is exactly what we set out to do during this meeting, is that we wanted to share our stories from our survivors from the Métis Nation, and we wanted him to listen. And you could see that on his face. And when our survivors talked about things that were more challenging, about the abuses that they faced, you could see that he had sorrow on his face and that he was feeling it as well. It was powerful to hear that from our survivors, and anybody who gets to hear those stories feels that way.
What now? So it looks like both of you are pleased with how this meeting went and how the Pope responded. But Cassidy, what are your expectations now?
So we, as the Métis Nation, invited the Pope on our journey for truth, healing, and justice. And those are things that we are working on in our communities on our own right now, but we invited the Pope and the Catholic Church and Catholics all over the world to join us on that path. And as Nathan said, he spoke in his language when he responded to us, the Pope did. But he said one thing in English, and it was when he spoke back to us and said, he repeated what I said. He said, truth, justice, healing. And he said, that is my personal responsibility. And so that it seems as though he heard us and that he wants to move forward with us. We don't know if there will be any concrete actions out of this yet. We don't know where that will go, but for us to be able to tell our story and show him where we want to go is really important.
What's your sense of what happens next, and to the extent that the Pope was listening to what you were saying to him?
Yeah, there's some really hard files, I'll call them, behind the hour-long conversation that we had today, whether it be the Catholic Church's full implementation of the TRC's calls to action, including a papal apology in Canada to residential school survivors and their families, or whether it's ongoing challenges that we have in bringing members of the Catholic Church to justice who have committed crimes such as sexual abuse in our communities, who still are living in some cases in Europe, who we need help with extradition to Canada. And I really think that we do need a personal approach by the Pope and by the Catholic Church in a number of these really challenging areas that sometimes can be explained away through legislation or through administration or any number of excuses that you probably hear all the time from politicians. We want to see humanity in the way in which the Catholic Church responds to the outstanding challenges that we have in seeking reconciliation with the Church.
Well, I'm really pleased that you took the time to speak with me on this incredibly busy and historic day. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.